Willie Nelson high. You're smoking some of the best dope God ever put around here.
FREAKIN is a formidable voice in the culture.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news.
Shut up,
and top
Lester.
stories.
You live in sexual anarchy.
This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin FREAKIN.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol Live. It's a freaking Sunday. I'm on at a weird time. I know it is SummerSlam weekend. I'm a wrestling fan. Tonight is night 2 of SummerSlam. It comes on at my usual time of 6 o'clock Eastern time. And basically, if I don't watch it live, it's a headache because I have to watch it like hours later. So then I have to stay off the internet to not know what happened. It's a lot easier if I watch it live. So here I am. I didn't want to leave you guys without news. So we're going to news it up for a little bit. Then I'm going to get off here, watch some SummerSlam. Warlord, Bondi, welcome in. Might not be that many people here because this isn't my normal time. I'm not high enough for this shit. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Trump calling off a strike against Iran. Iran attacking multiple municipal water sources in multiple states. I think 30, possibly. The Epstein survivors finally met with Todd Blanche. RFK crashed out this morning on CNN. Insane story out of California of a dude getting kidnapped, got executed in front of the authorities. The shooter got shot by the cops. It's a whole ordeal. And if you're hungry, the latest cooking show taking YouTube by storm. Cooking with RFK. All that and a lot freaking more. Tonight on the Troll Patrol. This afternoon on the Troll Patrol Live. The clip of RFK crashing out on CNN, hilarious. You gotta see it. I'm assuming his cooking show is hilarious. I haven't watched it yet. I like cooking shows, so I'm very interested to watch it and react with you guys. Who in the chat has ever had an In-N-Out burger? I haven't, actually. They have just penetrated my area. I have still not had the chance to go to an In-N-Out. Don't know if I want to now because we're starting off. It's just another day in mass shooting USA. Not even safe at an In-N-Out in Idaho.
Continuing our coverage now of an active shooter situation in Twin Falls. Our own Abby Wiltz.
Not an active shooter situation anymore.
As well as Terrence Holton. We want to confirm now that it has been confirmed.
Terrence Holton
dead in this situation, in this shooting. Again, our own Abby Wiltz. She is live there in Twin Falls. Abby, what are you seeing there right now?
So I guess not a mass shooting. I'm sorry, not a mass shooting. Only 3 people. It is 4 people to be a mass shooting, so I retract my just another day in mass shooting USA. I don't know if anybody was injured in the shooting. We've got 3 people dead. Possibly still a mass shooting. Possibly somebody was injured. That would make it a mass shooting.
As Terrence Holton, we want to confirm now that it has been confirmed 3 dead in this situation, in this shooting. Again, our own Abby Wiltz, she is live there in Twin Falls. Abby, what are you seeing there right now?
Yeah, Eddie, since we last talked, I moved over to the Ross parking lot. I'm talking to a couple of witnesses that are over here at Ross. One lady said she was shopping when it happened and she could hear shots being fired all the way from Ross. She said just seconds after that, people started running outside of In-N-Out all the way over to the Ross parking lot and the Ross store. She said a lot of people went inside, started ducking, started sheltering. She said it was a lot of panic, not exactly knowing what was going on, but just a lot of running, screaming, and getting down. Now we're sitting still outside of Ross. You can still see those school buses I was talking about previously that are helping people get out of the area that we're here. The people that are getting onto the school buses are looking very worried, upset, shaken. I did talk to a Ross employee as well. She confirmed there were no shots fired at Ross, so we do know that the shooting was more near in and out.
Well, I am glad nobody at the Ross was hurt in the I was worried about that.
That we're here. The people that are getting onto the school buses are looking very worried, upset, shaken. I did talk to a Ross employee as well. She confirmed there were no shots fired at Ross, so we do know that the shooting was more near in and out. If you know where this looks,
that is video of the shooter you're seeing right there.
The street from each other, or I guess across a parking lot from each other.
The shooter is dead, so 2 other people killed in the shooting.
It is confirmed now that 3 people are dead and 2 individuals are at St. Luke's with injuries. We did see the coroner arrive as well.
3 dead, 2 people with injuries. That makes it a mass shooting. It was in Twin Falls, Idaho. Twin Falls, Idaho.
Ross are right across the street from each other.
You can see video of the shooter there.
So all in close proximity. Like you said, it is confirmed now that 3 people are dead and 2 individuals are at St. Luke's with injuries. We did see the coroner arrive as well as just several law enforcement vehicles. So that's what we're seeing from our vantage point right now. Still driving around and trying to talk to more people as we can.
Alrighty, Abby Wilt there on the...
It seems that the shooter was not taken down by law enforcement, was taken down by a good guy with a gun. It happens so rarely, but we will point it out when it does happen. Apparently, an armed citizen got into a gunfight with the shooter. I don't know if we have that video.
Breaking tonight, a shooting at a fast food restaurant in southern Idaho has left multiple people dead. Shots rang out this afternoon at the In-N-Out in Twin Falls. Officials describe a scene so chaotic they don't know yet how many people were killed or injured. Police say the shooter is dead and they don't believe that there is an ongoing threat. The shooting took place near a busy shopping area.
We have literally hundreds of people that were in some way, shape, or form in the area of this restaurant at the time that are being interviewed right now. We're marshaling resources from across the state and literally from across the nation. State partners, federal partners, along with the FBI and the ATF have called to assist us for help. They have resources on the way here so that we can properly document the scene, interview all of the witnesses, and get to the bottom so that we can give everybody an answer about why this happened and the exact facts behind this today.
Police were able to say they think at least 5 people are injured. Twin Falls is south of Boise, about 75 miles north of the Nevada border.
We might actually have video of the gunman exchanging fire here. We believe that was the good guy with a gun ducking and taking cover as he was exchanging fire. Okay, I'm sorry, while this is an armed citizen attempting to take down the gunman, they believe that the gunman actually killed himself. This happened yesterday evening. Early reports are that the gunman killed himself. Gunman died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound, it would seem. I don't know if this is the man that attempted to take the gunman out, but we do have a eyewitness account.
Now, Morgan Ramirez, she now joins us live in studio after talking to a man who watched what he describes as a shooting rampage. And I know all the videos that we've been seeing on social media, Morgan, I could only imagine just how scary of a situation it was.
Yeah, he's certainly still processing all of it. Eddie Lane Cohen says shots were being fired all around him. He was on his way home from work when he stopped at the light on Blue Lakes Boulevard, and he says he saw somebody firing into a car just feet in front of him outside that crowded new In-N-Out. Cohen says he looked to his right and the shooter was just 30 to 40 feet away from him.
Oh, it was a new In-N-Out.
To be a semi-automatic rifle.
Well, that explains it.
The shooter as young, pale, with glasses and black hair. Cohen told me he doesn't know what happened with the person or people in the car in front of him that were getting shot at, but he saw them drive away. And of course, he hopes they're okay. And then he saw this man in the In-N-Out drive-thru with a handgun start firing at the shooter. He took this video as he drove away from the stoplight, and the two exchanged gunfire. Cohen says this man was shooting from a distance, but he might have saved lives because he distracted the shooter enough to get him to stop firing into traffic.
I was able then to get my vehicle out and drive around the corner into the parking lot next door. And the last I saw the kid, he was hiding behind the In-N-Out sign, or the shooter, and he was exchanging gunfire with this other person with his handgun in the drive-thru. They were both running around trying to dodge bullets, it looked like, but and so I went around. There's people running all over the place, freaking out, obviously. And I park and I run over to the restaurant, and you can see people in the parking lot area. There was this girl that had been shot, obviously. Another In-N-Out worker was trying to drag her through the vehicles. When I got up there, he got her to the sidewalk, and he is totally hysterical, losing his mind. She shot through the middle of her chest and in and out of it. And so we're trying to keep her, wake her back up, block the wound.
Cohen says law enforcement and paramedics got there really quickly, but he doesn't know how that young In-N-Out worker is doing now. He said the shooter continued to fire rounds aimlessly, without control.
I couldn't tell rhyme or reason, and even looking back, I don't know. It looked like he was shooting at random. And a lot of shots. We're not talking 5 shots. It's a couple magazines. You know, he would empty one here and reload. He would shoot into vehicles. He unloaded his gun through the In-N-Out. It looked like the drive-through window. He was parked up in there and send a magazine through the drive-through window. Then the last I saw of him, he was running down the road further, which is towards the visitor center, which borders this property, kind of. And there was still shooting going on.
A Magic Valley native, Cohen is still trying to process everything he experienced, but mostly he feels for the victims and the In-N-Out workers forever traumatized after experiencing this. He says he's been thinking about them all day.
When this go down, I never thought it'd be even a possibility here. I mean, obviously it is, but you never think it will happen here or where you live. And to be in the crossfire of it all is even more eye-opening. You never know who you're around. When I was in my vehicle and they were shooting across traffic in front of me, I thought there was a good chance I was gonna take a round. I was kind of hunkering down.
Eddie, as I mentioned, we don't know the condition of that In-N-Out worker right now. I did reach out to the manager of this.
So In-N-Out earlier today confirmed that one worker died. I would assume that was that worker if she was shot in the chest. I don't know that to be fact, but In-N-Out, as of a couple of hours ago, did confirm that a worker died. I am not seeing anything about the attacker being identified. It was a female that passed away. In-N-Out Burger confirmed. This appears to be a picture of the shooter. He is yet to be identified. This appears to be the In-N-Out shooter. Incel ass build. Exactly. Gender fluid. T-Girl. Michael. Soup. Avalon. Well, sneak in here on me. Carla. Bondi. Good evening. Definitely got some incel vibes going on. Him firing into traffic from behind a car in the parking lot. Well, Twin Falls, Idaho. You think shit like that only happens out in LA, don't you? Going to LA, Irvine more specifically. This one is crazy. Man was kidnapped, taken hostage, and shot right in front of the cops. The suspect shot the man he kidnapped right in front of the cops. In a crazy incident that happened in LA on Thursday night, I think.
Now at noon, new details in a wild kidnapping and murder case in Chino Hills. Sheriff's deputies have served a new search warrant in Orange County. Thank you for joining us for the KTLA 5 News at noon. I'm Lauren Lister. San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputies say the new search warrant is connected to the Chino Hills case, but it's unclear just what they were looking for. KTLA Orange County Bureau Chief Chip Yost is live near the Irvine home with the latest details. Hi, Chip.
Yeah, hey there, Lauren. Yeah, the home that was searched here in Irvine is one of the ones here behind me, and we've learned that the two kidnapping suspects in this case lived at that home. We just got some new information from the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. They also gave us the name of the two suspects and the name of the victim who was killed in this kidnapping. Let's put those names up on the screen for you if we could there. You could see one of the suspects is Xingfang Bo, 67. He's the one that was shot and killed by sheriff's deputies. The other suspect, John Chuan.
Xingfang Bo. Interesting.
In this kidnapping, let's put those names up on the screen for you if we could.
Xingfang Bo was shot by cops, I believe.
Xingfang Bo, 67. He's the one that was shot and killed by sheriff's deputies. The other suspect, John Chuan Bo, Xing Feng was 67 years old, John Chuan, 66, both here of Irvine. The victim has been identified as Shakur Aikbar, 60 years old. Investigators say there was some sort of business relationship between at least one of the suspects and the victim in this case. Now, let's get you up to speed of what we know. They've actually given us some new information about what happened at the home where this victim was initially kidnapped. You're seeing video of that home right now. That was on Monteverde and Chino Hills on Wednesday night. We saw a lot of activity by investigators looking at the electrical box outside the home. Well, it turns out, according to investigators, power to the home somehow went out just before the victim was kidnapped. The victim came out of his home apparently to check on the power, and that's when he was shot in front of his home, kidnapped, and put into a car. That car was later noticed by some sheriff's deputies, pursued to Wandering Ridge Drive. Let's show you some video from that location. At that location, the two suspects and the victim were in the car. We're told sheriff's deputies were unaware at the time that the victim was actually in the trunk of the car, but at the end of the pursuit, one of the suspects in the passenger seat gave up peacefully. However, the driver of the car, according to the sheriff's deputies, got out of the car, went to the trunk, and shot again at the victim in the trunk. Let's show you some surveillance video from the scene. They say that the victim was in the trunk. The driver got out, went to the trunk, and fired at least one more shot, possibly more, into the trunk. So the victim was pronounced dead at the scene. Sheriff's deputies then opened fire on the suspect. That suspect was also pronounced dead at the scene. And as I said, we've learned that those two suspects lived here in Irvine. Let's show you some pictures that some residents here in Irvine gave us yesterday. As the investigation was continuing, there was a search.
So did you guys catch that? The cops pulled them over, and we saw it. Surveillance video.
Again at the victim in the trunk. Let's show you some surveillance video from the scene. They say
he got out in front of the cops and shot the dude that was in his trunk. His passenger is giving up.
Into the trunk. So the victim was pronounced dead at the scene. Sheriff's deputies then opened fire on the suspect. That suspect was also pronounced dead at the scene. And as I said, we've learned that those two suspects lived here in Irvine. Let's show you some pictures that some residents here in Irvine gave us yesterday. As the investigation was continuing, there was a search warrant served at this home where the two suspects live. We talked to one neighbor who saw what happened. Here's a little bit of how she described what happened here in Irvine.
So basically, when I came home and I pulled up to the house, I heard cops, the SWAT, they were from San Bernardino County. They were telling the family that was inside to leave the house, announcing to get out, but the family didn't speak English, so they had a Chinese translator, I believe, translate in Chinese to tell them to get out. They did comply.
Mandarin.
They eventually were all taken into custody.
Now, we don't know.
Mandarin is the most widely spoke language in China, but there's like 4 or 5 other languages that they could have possibly been speaking, but likely Mandarin. There is no Chinese language.
Many of the residents of the house were actually arrested. A lot of times when they serve search warrants like that, they will detain people for safety reasons, but we haven't heard if any of them have been arrested. We did stop by, knock on the door to see if anyone wanted to talk. A gentleman answered, but said they didn't have anything to say at this time. For now, reporting here in Irvine, I'm Chip Yost, KTLA 5 News.
T-Girl, you must not watch my show very much. I mean, that's not even the craziest thing I've heard in the past week. The news is constantly blowing my mind. Red Wine, welcome in. I'm just playing with you. Park Horse, good afternoon, my friend. Lenny, how are you, brother? Is it a nice day up in Boston or south of Boston? We got some rain and it's cooled down over here, but I think it's gotten hot again. Okay, T-Girl, about a month ago, we watched a homeless guy. He was chasing a woman around in like a lot, and the cops showed up, And they walked over to him, and he walked around and went to their cop cars. He went over to the first one, and it was locked. He goes over to the second one, the window's down. He unlocks it, gets in, drives off in the cop car. The one cop gets in the spare cop car that's still there. It was apparently his buddy's, his partner's cop car. He gets in that cop car and drives off, leaves his buddy. They catch, there's a guy watching this the whole time. He's teasing the cops like, "Oh my God, I can't believe they stole your car." And he catches the partner looking incredibly sad, like he's about ready to cry as they drive off. And then it's a wild ass police chase. And the dude changed clothes sometime during the police chase. He swerved all over the freeway. They tried to pit him, and he jumps out as the car is still moving. It was a wild ass chase. So just an example of a story that I can provide you that's crazier than that one. Fucking last week we had a dad shoot his 6 kids, execution style. That happened in Illinois. News be doing crazy shit all the time. I'm here to bring it to you. A pilot, I believe, is going to be okay after crashing his F-35 jet. You know, I've got to hand it to Clinically. Clinically, a couple years ago at this point in time, I asked what people like about the show, and Clinically told me to focus on more of the local stories, and that has been very successful. And people seem to, and it is I find a lot of shit that goes under the radar and doesn't get a lot of national attention. A pilot ejected out of an F-35. He's apparently going to be okay. The Marines have deemed it a mishap.
Continuing coverage now, breaking news. We are getting more information on the pilot involved in the crash at Marine Corps Air Station Miramar in San Diego. What's being described as an aircraft mishap involving...
It's an expensive mishap.
...stealth fighter. Natalie Chuck is back with us here to give us more information on what she's learning. Natalie.
Hi there, Trace. Yeah, within the last 30 minutes, we have an update now on the status of that pilot. The good news, the pilot is in stable condition, being taken to a local medical facility.
F-35
Waited for non-life-threatening injuries. So we do know that pilot ejected and was recovered, which obviously very relieving news after seeing this unfold earlier today. You could see first responders out there addressing this aircraft mishap, as the military is calling it. This happened around 10 o'clock in the morning here in California, 1 p.m. Eastern time.
It is a pretty big mishap.
Fire also responded due to a brush fire that broke out because of what unfolded, but this entire jurisdiction is in the military's jurisdiction. We still don't have details, Trace, regarding exactly what unfolded. Was this F-35B taking off? Was it coming in? We do know it is based at Miramar. We do not know if this was a training exercise. I did ask those questions.
I think they call it Burma.
But they are not disclosing those details at the moment. Again, you could see really all hands on deck out there. People describe seeing
that joke made one person laugh.
That all of this unfolded, they did put out that fire very quickly, which is good news for an area like San Diego. Very relieving. Nobody wants to see a fire expand any more than it has to. So we do know that crews are kind of working on the remnants of that area right now. The flames went out very quickly, and
this was on Friday, I believe.
This involved.
I get my days confused, especially after I take a day off from doing the news.
Really hard for me, for the perspective-wise, to kind of get an idea of where on the Marine Air Base that this actually happened, because you can see going up, you can see the Interstate 15 going up.
Well, it happened in the sky.
Burned out area. Hard to see where the runway is to get an idea where this was.
We are told it was near the runway
Okay.
and in the flight line.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
So.
Good stuff. We'll get back to you as the news warrants, Natalie.
Good stuff.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox 1.
I'm sorry, I like Harris Faulkner. There's just something about her. She can absolutely be my GOP mommy. Yes. Oh, holy God, yes, I am. Yes.
Can I offer you a nice egg in this trying time?
The FBI warning of cyber attacks on water systems all across the United States. Apparently, they got several.
Attacks against our water systems. That is the warning from several government entities to municipalities after as many as 7 states were attacked by cyber hacks. That happened this week alone. Fox 4's Sean Rapp in our newsroom with his reporting tonight. Sean.
Yeah, this is a big story and potentially kind of dangerous as well for all of us. Let me tell you why. Reports say that the attacks are likely Iranian actors from inside their country. The U.S. infrastructure a constant target. This week, our water supply and wastewater treatment plants. More than 30 of the cyber attacks aimed at water systems in Minnesota alone. The online attack of devices that connect water systems and wastewater treatment facilities controls to the internet. So easily it can be handled with remote management and more. FBI, EPA, and Cyber Infrastructure Security Agency all send.
Why would we hook our water systems up to the internet? Why would we even have the ability to be able to remote control water systems? Why would we want that to be something that can be done? Thank you. Why did they put it on the internet? It's kind of like the election machines. Election machines are not supposed to be able to connect to the internet. Why would you give someone the ability to be able to do that?
Easily it can be handled with remote management and more. FBI, EPA, and Cyber Infrastructure Security Agency all sending alerts to municipalities nationwide warning about malicious cyber actors hacking water and wastewater systems, disrupting control of those systems, changing passwords and IP addresses, but to this point, not impacting water safety. Now, Ian Marlowe is founder and CEO of global cybersecurity company Phytech.
When someone has access to a multiple of those devices in an area,
because some asshole like this guy
change access, that means that they could actually
told them the water system needed to be on the internet.
The serviceability of those locations, which are all
so he could make money off of it.
And those loopholes, those access points need to be cut off.
And Ian Marlowe says local, state, and even federal government wanes in replacing and updating infrastructure hardware, internet connections, or the firewalls that protect them.
Yeah, and then that's the same thing that happens in business.
Compromised for cyber attacks.
They'll get some sort of automated system, and then 20 years later, they're still running on Windows 95.
For a certain number of years and have what we call an open port or an open access. Over time, the assumption is they're making the changes, but the truth is not everybody has gotten there yet, and they need to move faster.
Need to move faster. And he says with this swath of attacks happening and with the vulnerable devices identified, many municipalities should move to take those offline and make changes as soon as possible. Now,
it was a stable OS, that's for sure.
Protect or try to protect yourself from online threats at home. That's what has to be done by municipalities and water systems. Changing passwords, making sure they're both complex and unique, mixing vowels, consonant, numbers, and symbols.
That's how the Iranians got in. The password was just password 1234.
Against Iran overnight. The U.S. and Iran have traded attacks across the Strait of Hormuz following an attempted attack on an American airbase in Jordan. Add to that the suspicion that Iran is increasing its cyber attacks on U.S. targets, and that is raising concern here at home.
Is the Iranians trying to go after the American people where we live? Everyone, and it's everywhere from Minnesota to Texas, needs to be on high alert because we don't know what's here.
Oil tankers remained in Iran's sights, with the country claiming to have hit 2 tankers passing through the region. Experts say the attacks will continue to bring issues with oil supply around the world.
The attacks will continue until morale improves. Trump apparently was getting ready to go forward with some crazy ass strike on Iran and called it off. And oh, good Lord, forgive me for saying this. Laura Trump. Ma'am. Good morning to you. But I've heard her sing, so that takes that takes it down. Apparently her and Nicki Minaj are working on something. I kid you not. Laura Trump and Nicki Minaj are getting ready to unleash some ungodly concoction on us.
President Trump hitting pause on his promise to launch a wave of devastating strikes on Iran.
He says the change comes amid new progress on a potential deal with the Iranian regime.
Rebecca Castor is live in Washington with the very latest. Hey, Rebecca.
Hey, Griff, this decision comes after the White House confirmed the Saudi crown prince spoke with President Trump yesterday, and now the president believes a peace deal could be close. He wrote on Truth Social, the USA is locked and loaded and ready to go against Iran. Despite this, we have just been asked by Iran and other Middle Eastern countries to hold off any attack, and that the perimeters of a deal has been agreed to. This would include the immediate, complete, and total opening of the Strait of Hormuz and an end to Iran's nuclear threat. I have agreed to cancel the attack, subject to being able to rapidly make a deal. According to Axios, the Saudis expressed concern and asked for clarity about the president's plan of action. A second source with knowledge of the call said MBS urged Trump to de-escalate and refrain from launching the strikes. The planned attack was set to be one of the largest bombing campaigns on Iran to date. But in an interview with Laura last night, Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the months of U.S. strikes on Iran have severely degraded Iran's defensive capabilities, setting up this next round of negotiations to be more successful.
They still have missiles and they still have drones and they can still do damage, but they no longer have that shield, that conventional shield that they could hide behind. And that's changed the whole dynamic. It's the only reason why they are now willing and in some cases seem eager to do a deal on denuclearization, to do a deal on the straits, because we're now approaching them from a position of strength, not from a position of weakness.
Qatari mediators held separate talks with U.S., Iranian, and Omani officials yesterday on reopening the strait. Axios reports those talks made progress.
Rubio's full of shit.
Back to you.
All right, Rebecca. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Rebecca.
Yeah, she looks amazing on Fox News. Listen to her sing and like... It's not good. It's one of those where I don't know if it's a joke I've taken too far or if I actually believe it. I'm not sure. I'm in that gray area at this point in time. It's still like, do I actually like Nelly Furtado, or is that a joke I've taken too far? I'm not sure at this point. I think I actually like Nelly Furtado. It used to just be something I put on all the time to annoy people. But I think I really like her. So it's the same thing with the GOP mommy thing. Am I being serious, or is it a joke I've taken too far? I think everybody finds Nelly Furtado annoying. Everybody in my life finds Nelly Furtado annoying, except me. Apparently. Sports cars, I tell you good evening. Oh, Rebecca over on YouTube. Is America as crazy to the Australians? Australia is crazy to the Americans when we hear about the kind of wildlife you guys got going on in the desert out there. 30% is 30%. No, you take your 33 and a third.
You take your 33 and a third chance minus my 25% chance, and you got an 8 and a third chance of winning.
Clinically, good evening, my friend. Or good afternoon. I'm on early because the wrestling is on in a little bit. I want to watch the wrestling. The Epstein survivors finally got their meeting with Todd Blanche, and apparently he, you know what? Let's get high before we do this. He apparently gave him the cold shoulder. No, I'm gonna watch wrestling. I can't show the wrestling on the stream. That's a big no-no. I found that out the hard way. I'm not high enough for this shit. We need to get Willie Nelson high.
You're Willie Nelson high. You're smoking some of the best dope God ever put breath in.
Kennedy was on one of the morning shows, and I watched his entire interview hoping he would say something like incredibly stupid that I could make a clip out of. He said some stupid shit, but nothing that was just like jaw-droppingly stupid. Michael's still trying to figure out the passcode for your local municipality's water. Gotta get into the water systems. The Epstein survivors finally got their meeting with Todd Blanche this past week, and they said he treated them like shit.
Welcome back to Takeout. Welcome to the Conversation Corner, where we always proceed with caution, but we're going to proceed with extra care right now. Danny Bensky was 17 years old when she first encountered sex offender Jeffrey Epstein in his New York penthouse. That was in 2004. Epstein's abuse led to a PTSD diagnosis for Bensky, also propelled her into a fight that has lasted years to make Epstein and others related to these crimes accountable for the abuse and subsequent cover-up. This week, she and a group of other survivors were on Capitol Hill trying to block Todd Blanche's nomination as the next Attorney General of our country. And Danny Bensky joins me now. Danny, I'm glad to have you back.
Thank you so much for being here.
What was the sum total of your involvement on the Hill and your takeaways?
Yeah, so a few days ago, survivors got together and we brought these bound books that were so thoughtfully put together by the Redacted Reading Room. The Institute of Primary Facts have been on tour. They're about to go on this tour and show the volume and the enormity of the Epstein files by creating the files in these bound books. So we decided to take those files, take the bound files to different representatives and different senators on House Judiciary. And a few of the girls got together earlier in the week and they flagged investigative leads so that everybody can see in black and white that there are, in fact, leads that need to be pursued. And so we went all over, I mean, you name it, everyone's office you can think of, and dropped off these books with these leads flagged. And hopefully we'll see.
What kind of reaction did you get, especially among Republicans, if you'd be willing to summarize?
Yeah, I mean, mixed, you know. I think we basically just stormed their office. So they weren't, you know, there was nothing set up for us at all. But we just went to their office and talked to many staffers and just said, can you please make sure
Yeah, that's the way you got to do it.
gets this book. And if they have any questions, please feel free to reach out to survivors. We're happy to have meetings. And we've had quite a few really wonderful meetings on both sides. So we're hoping to continue.
When you say investigatory leads,
Yeah.
you're not a law enforcement professional, and neither am I.
Yeah.
But there are things that strike you as something that anyone, a commonsensical person, would look at and say that ought to be followed up. Is that what you're telling me?
Exactly, yes. So something that we've seen quite a lot is that Todd Blanche is basically walking perjury. He has said that there are no leads anywhere, and that there are no credible leads. Well, we know that to not be true, and obviously we are not law enforcement, but there are many 302s, many people who have given testimony. Oh yeah, it's the survivor testimony that the FBI takes. It's like the initial intake. And so a lot of what you're seeing and a lot of the failed redactions that happened came out of those 302s. So for instance, my 302 had my name, my phone number, my address, where I worked, where I went to school, all of that information exposed. However, certain things were redacted that were very strange, like my nickname, Danny, was redacted. And so it just showed, and that happened multiple times, right? So we're talking 3 different batches of release, 3 different times that I was exposed, and I'm just one, right?
Right. Quick reminder, lots of survivors had their personal information exposed.
Lots.
Meanwhile, in this redacting process, lots of other names and places and associations that ought...
Rich men that we should know their names were redacted. That's what Garrett is getting ready to say.
Not to have been redacted were.
Yeah, I think the plainest example is Virginia Giuffre's deposition, right? So in that we saw...
So listen to that again. The rich men whose names shouldn't have been redacted were...
Lots of other names and places and associations that ought not to have been redacted were.
Yeah, I think the plainest example is Virginia Giuffre's deposition, right? So in that we saw Andrew's name redacted, but her name was exposed.
Former Prince Andrew.
Former Prince Andrew is redacted in that document. Yeah, and then we saw...
But the victim isn't.
The victim isn't, and her children are not. Those are underage, those are minors, right, that were exposed. And so that's a great example of it was very intentional that they were protecting the perpetrators. I saw one recently where Jeffrey's name had been redacted and Jeffrey's email was redacted, and yet there were victims in that information.
So you've seen this slowdown, this blocking for the moment of Todd Blanche's ascension. He's the Deputy Attorney General. It's not with... He doesn't have any power. He's got plenty of power.
Yeah.
But from becoming full Attorney General.
Yeah.
But it's not over this. It's over other matters, which are also important.
Yeah.
Do you feel that there is a lack of emphasis?
The holdup is because Senator Tom Tillis of North Carolina, who's going to be leaving the Senate when they swear in the new Congress in January, because he was primaried out. He is holding up the nomination of Blanche over the weaponization fund, where Trump wanted to pay the January 6th sedition rioters money from the DOJ to compensate them for their rightful prosecution in January 6th. So Tillis has held it up unless Blanche puts in writing that there's not going to be a fund. And for some reason, so here's the thing is, like, Trump has gone to Congress and saying that, like, I want you to pass a bill creating this fund, because we apparently don't have the power to do it without Congress, because Congress technically does appropriations. So that is the holdup. It's not anything to do with the Epstein files.
It's over other matters, which are also important.
Yeah.
Do you feel that there is a lack of emphasis on this particular part of Blanche's real-time record within the Justice Department?
Yeah, and yes, I do think that talking about the slush fund is a way of not talking about the Epstein files. And I do think that...
Does that feel calculated to you?
Yeah, it does. And I also think that we have been pretty persuasive on the Hill. It felt like we are having really good conversations with senators. And I will say we had a really great conversation with Cornyn's judiciary staffer
Senator
this week.
John Cornyn's staff.
Yeah, and it was
Cornyn also on his way out.
Conversation. And we were saying, look, like, he's obstructing justice. He is perjury. The perjury is evident. You know, he said in testimony, I sat at the House Judiciary meeting and gave testimony, right? And the day before, Todd Blanche had testified, and he had said that within 24 hours, if a redaction was improper, they had taken it down and put it back up, which is wholeheartedly not true, and my lawyers can attest to that. And so, you know, that's just a very blatant lie that's very easily catchable, but there are so many that through time we've seen him really lean into these lies. So I'm not sure why that isn't a bigger issue for these senators. But I do think having those conversations like the one that we had with John Cornyn's staffer, and we're really hoping that we can get in front of Senators Tillis and Cornyn to have these deeper conversations and talk to them about this meeting that we had with Todd Blanche that was just so highly disappointing and unsatisfactory.
Why?
That meeting was very condescending. It was very... we went in with a plan. We always do. We're a group of advocates that really come in and want to get to the heart. We want to know why redactions were the way that they were. We want to know why victims were exposed, perpetrators were concealed. We want to know about the investigative leads. Why isn't a single lead being pursued when James Comer himself, that's his own party, right? James Comer himself.
Head of the Oversight Committee.
Yes, and he's been wonderful. Chairman Comer has been lovely with working for us, and he has said that there are investigative leads to follow. And in fact, he made 2 referrals to the DOJ. So we wanted to know, why weren't those referrals looked at? Why aren't we pursuing those? And he said that they came in the wrong form, and basically, like, everything that we said was spun. It was all about the semantics of language and how we were approaching it and what did he say and what he didn't say versus...
It felt adversarial.
Beyond, yes, 1,000%. He's a lawyer. I mean, it felt like we were being met with a lawyer. We were not meeting with somebody who is the head of our department.
You were being met with a lawyer. You were being met with Trump's personal defense attorney, acting on Trump's behalf to cover up the fact that Trump diddles kids.
And what did he say and what he didn't say versus...
It felt adversarial.
Beyond, yes, 1,000%. He's a lawyer. I mean, it felt like we were being met with a lawyer. We were not meeting with somebody who is the head of our Department of Justice. So I think the American people really need to dig deep and see, do you want more of a cover-up? Do you want more criminal behavior? Or are you looking for actual truth, transparency, and justice for survivors in this country?
Danny Bensky, I appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Coming in. Thank you. And thank you for that perspective. And I'm sure you will stay.
This cat is being unruly right now. I don't know why. He's been outside. He's had bathroom time today. He's gotten plenty of activity. Somebody flipped the spicy switch on him. Are you spicy today, Maynard? He's not being spoiled. He's just being extra. And we're coming up on 420. The East Coast. You got about 20 seconds to get your shit together. If you'd like to partake with me. I don't get to do the countdown very often, so let's do it. See, I had to kill that because somebody listened to the podcast version of this in like the middle of the night getting their news, and they're like, oh, hey, it's 4:20, and it's actually like 1:45 a.m. It's weird for them. Epstein was among the 47 alleged abusers identified in a new report in Michigan.
A new independent investigation is shining a light on decades of abuse at a prestigious fine arts camp in northern Michigan.
Officials with Interlochen Center for the Arts did release findings to the public last night. The 97-page report does come from the accounts of 70 former students who accused nearly 50 adults in leadership at that camp of sexual assault and misconduct. Some of those incidents span all the way back to the 1950s. None of the 47 accused still work at Interlochen, and most of them have died.
Those still living have been reported to prosecutors. The investigation started 2 years ago.
And one of them was Epstein.
Reported being sexually assaulted by a faculty member in the 1970s. This entire investigation was triggered by questions about Jeffrey Epstein's conduct at the center. He was a longtime donor. According to the report, investigators reached out to 8 alums regarding Epstein. Of those 8, 2 disclosed physical contact of a sexual nature with Epstein. One said he paid for her tuition and flew her out to New York, where he put his hands on her. She did not tell school officials about the encounter at the time.
A second alum said that Epstein flew her to New York, where he requested a massage from her. When she and her mother reported that incident, they say that Interlochen leaders dismissed the incident because it happened off property and it did not involve anyone who's employed by the institution. Interlochen eventually ended ties with Epstein in 2003.
Well, at least it was before he was arrested the first time. Good for Interlochen. The DOJ, have they officially dropped charges against the Olympian? Yep, they've dropped charges against the Olympian because, of course, they did. The one that they charged for the reflecting pool vandalism because he reached his hand in and pulled out a piece of the badly installed lining. Trump attacking Judge Jeanine over this.
Back here in the U.S., President Trump is doubling down on his reflecting pool vandalism claims. The president saying he disagrees 100% with U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro's decision to drop vandalism charges against a former Olympian. Pirro is now blaming the damage on the contractor. ABC's Alex Brachet at the White House tonight.
Tonight, a stunning reversal by the Department of Justice. U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro dropping charges against a former Olympian for allegedly vandalizing the reflecting pool. This was Pirro a month ago.
Because he didn't vandalize shit.
Prosecution.
The evidence shows, and we will prove beyond a reasonable doubt, that Hearn willfully destroyed property at the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool.
In a Friday filing, the Department of Justice
that was a lie.
Documents provided by the Interior Department show a botched installation by the contractor caused the damage, not David Hearn, the former Olympic rower who was originally arrested and charged with vandalism. The DOJ cited the rush to complete the project prior to events associated with the America 250 celebration in the week surrounding Independence Day of 2026. Federal records show the company was paid more than $14.6 million through a no-bid contract.
And you know, I don't even know that they botched the installation. I don't know that anybody could have done it. Apparently, the company that normally works on the reflecting pool turned the job down because they said they didn't have near enough time or money to do it properly. So, you know, the company probably didn't botch it. It just couldn't meet the requirements, or it did its best to meet what Trump wanted, which was some temporary fix in order to, you know, have the reflecting pool for the 4th of July. That's all it was.
A no-bid contract. Pirro writing in a statement, given all of this newly discovered information, it is difficult to attribute the widespread damage to the reflecting pool to vandalism, let alone establish that fact beyond a reasonable doubt. The president blasting Pirro's decision today, posting, "I don't know what she was thinking. To me, it was a pure case of vandalism. And tonight,
because you're an idiot.
Within the administration, Pirro criticizing the Department of the Interior for not being forthcoming with information. And Secretary Doug Burgum firing back, saying his agency provided expert and eyewitness testimony. Burgum, like Trump, is steadfast, insisting there's clear evidence that vandals have repeatedly damaged the reflecting pool.
And in a statement, David Hearn's attorneys say that the drop charge does not erase the government abuse of power in arresting and charging a patriotic American who they say did nothing wrong. They also say the administration owes Mr. Hearn an apology.
That is correct. Yes, they owe him an apology. This morning, RFK was on with Dana Perino. Oh, I'm sorry. Too many Danas. This morning, RFK Jr. was on with Dana Bash on CNN's morning show. And it's something. It's something.
That is the primary obligation
What
of
does
our
that
country.
mean?
Well, during COVID, we completely dismantled our constitutional rights. We began censoring people in violation
Okay, but
of the
what
First Amendment.
but I'm not, you're saying what not to do. I'm asking what to do. But I want to talk
Well,
about.
that's something to do. That is the number one priority. We protect the Constitution. The Constitution was
Forgive
written.
me, but you're talking about rights, and I'm asking about a potential public health crisis that is coming. But I do want to
And one of the mistakes we made in the last time was suppressing those rights so people weren't being heard. The doctors who were saying you're doing it wrong were being marginalized and vilified.
Yeah,
and
because again, I really want to move on, but.
Yeah,
you were saying you were
because
yes,
you
I
were
do.
part of the problem.
No, I wasn't part of the problem.
There was absolute press malpractice. You weren't allowing your
Mr.
job.
Secretary,
Your job is a fierce skepticism toward authority. And
Yes,
you weren't
I am.
doing that. You
I
were
am.
beating
My
up
job
on people
is
who were
also
dissenting.
No. Okay, you want to sit here and attack me, or do you want to have conversations
sitting
about
here and
public health?
attacking me.
I'm not attacking you. I'm asking questions about how to
And let
prevent
me
the next
ask the
pandemic.
question, and I'll tell you.
That's what I'm trying to do. But I also don't want to use this interview to allow you to say things that aren't entirely true. You're talking about therapeutics, fine. It is also factually true that the COVID vaccine worked. The COVID vaccine prevented deaths. There is data upon data upon data. Let's talk about the measles, please, because this is something that is happening as we speak.
Oh, he ain't done.
Cases
The
in the
COVID
U.S.
vaccine protected children.
I think that what I have talked to scientists and doctors
Talk to
about.
scientists. Can you show me one study?
Yes, I can.
That shows that
I can.
Children were protected by the COVID vaccine.
I can tell you that
That
there are.
vaccine did more good than harm to children. Can you show me one study that shows that?
I can tell you that when it comes to the vaccine, there have been studies that show that because of vaccine disinformation, there could have been 100 to 200,000 lives in the U.S. saved. But because people didn't get the vaccine, that's why. I'm not saying that it entirely.
You
Let
are
me finish.
saying
Let me
nonsense.
finish.
You are saying something that you cannot show me.
Okay.
A single study.
I am
that
not
says
saying
that.
nonsense.
You
I
are
am
talking what
Excuse
somebody
me.
told you.
Excuse me.
And you
Let me
cite me the study.
What
study?
No, what
Cite
studies
me
are
the
you
study.
talking about? You're talking about studies that actually don't exist. I want to talk about.
Cite me the
I am
study
not,
that you're talking about.
I am
you
not
say
here
you've
to
seen
defend.
studies. Cite me the study.
This is not productive. I am not here to defend all of the. Let me
You're
finish.
talking nonsense.
Let
You're
me
making
finish.
assertions you can't support, and then when I call you on them, you're telling me that I'm arguing.
Okay,
with
do you want to talk about assertions that you can't support? I'll get there in a second. Let me just say, for the record, that I am not saying that the entire way that the COVID reaction was accurate. It was a scary time, and people made mistakes. Absolutely.
You
Let
were
me finish.
scaring people
Why are you saying that?
because that was the job of CNN.
Okay.
Was to
okay,
put the
stop.
chyrons up
Okay,
about
stop.
how many people are
We
dying.
were trying to
To get people
we were
to
listening
comply.
to the leaders in this country, including the president, who had a daily press conference explaining what was
They
going
don't
on
know
and
what
trying
the
to
fuck
listen.
Were you listening?
I
You
want to talk
understand
to
that?
measles.
Actually, were you reading the,
The
science
measles-
yourself?
RFK Biden 2028.
Come on, man.
I mean, Biden's doing better than Trump.
Maynard, calm your shit.
He's just yelling at me. Okay. I need everybody to prepare. It's time for our main event of the evening. I did an early show today because I'm going to be watching some wrestling. But I specifically wanted to watch this video with you guys. It just dropped into the last week. I'm sure it's a banger. Because you see, our buddy RFK, who I'm pretty sure has snorted some coke off a toilet seat before he went in to talk to Dana Bash.
You know, I used to snort cocaine off of toilet seats.
What do you mean used to? Sir, you can't tell me that wasn't an interview given by somebody who just snorted a fresh line off a toilet seat. 10 CNN Center. I don't know. They're probably at a studio in D.C. They're probably not down in Georgia. I'll make sure everybody is high enough for what we're getting ready to watch. You guys know me when I'm not doing political content. I watch wrestling. I watch cooking shows. No, but he's been keeping a low profile since he got a stern talking to. He was gallivanting around with his girl. This was like 2 weeks ago. Around the time Trump did that election interference speech. Patel was going to go see his girlfriend at a festival in Illinois. And Patel was on the runway, taxiing, getting ready to take off. And Trump called him back to the White House. Winkley's got some dabs called Snow on the Bluff. So when I'm not doing political content, I watch wrestling. I watch a lot of cooking shows. That's my main thing I do when I'm not doing politics, is I do cooking shows. So very much looking forward to a brand new cooking show taking the YouTube by storm. We're going to get Maha up in here. This is called The Real Food Show. I think we're making salmon cakes with RFK Jr.
We talk about seafood a lot because I'm a seafood junkie, and one of the things that actually drove me into the restaurant industry was understanding people need to eat more seafood, more of the right types of seafood. The thing about the new dietary guidelines I know you focused on, which was really huge for me, was getting people to eat more seafood because
there's something to that.
It's so low.
Hi, I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr., your HHS Secretary. Welcome to The Real Food Show. Thanks to President Trump, we flipped the food pyramid and put real food back where it belongs, at the center of the American plate. I'm traveling across America, connecting with renowned chefs to show families how to cook delicious, nutritious meals with real ingredients and all at affordable prices. America, it's time to eat real food. Let's get cooking. Hi, I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr., your age.
If you flip the pyramid, it's still the same amount of foods, right? Like, hold on.
Meals with real ingredients and all at affordable prices. America, it's time to eat real food.
Oh, no, I went past it.
People to eat more seafood because our seafood consumption is so low.
Hi, I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr., your HHS Secretary. Welcome to the Real Food Show. Thanks to President Trump, we flipped the food.
Because you have this amount of breads, which is a lot, right? So most of your diet is breads, grains, blah, blah, blah. You got your vegetables to the left, fruits to the right. It's the same amount of it. If you flip the pyramid, it doesn't change the amounts of things in the pyramid. Right?
Food pyramid.
No? Because the grains were down at the bottom and now they're at the top, but the top is the bottom. And now I think it, like, the rest of the pyramid's just everything. I'm very confused. How do pyramids work? They're like magnets.
Put real food back where it belongs, at the center of the American plate. I'm traveling.
Yeah, he put them at the bottom, but he put the bottom at the top. That's what I'm not getting. I'm very confused.
Across America, connecting with renowned chefs to show.
So you didn't have to flip the pyramid. You could have just changed things.
With real ingredients and all at affordable prices. America, it's time to eat real food. Let's get cooking. Hi, I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr., your HHS Secretary.
There is something to the fish thing, right? Because the people that live the longest in the world are like Japan, people in the Mediterranean, Hawaii, and they have diets that are high in fish.
Wild Alaskan salmon at an affordable price. So the servings of each of these, we ask to keep it under $5.
They're also more likely to use like a different kind of oil in their cooking, like an olive oil, which is cleaner.
And how you can eat the highest quality food in this country at a very, very affordable price. Oh, Andrew, what are we going to do today?
Okay, well, you know, this is about taking ingredients that everybody already knows. It's approachable. You can get them at any store, and maybe manipulating them a little bit with a couple chef tricks, but nothing overly intellectual, so that we can get that flavor that's memorable. It's sticky. It's addictive. What I found as a chef is that people are so obsessed and addicted to processed food because it's chemically built to be addictive. But with a few simple ingredients that are fresh and whole and real, we'll be able
to low smoke point
effect utilizing one of our bounty items in America.
That's why olive oil isn't good for most cooking.
So we've actually got right here these
better
are
garnish
sockeye salmon fillets. Now, these were frozen. I'm an advocate of actually using frozen seafood because the way in which they flash freeze seafood now on the boats in modern technology, it's better than fresh in some cases, right?
No, it's not.
95% of all seafood that's used for sushi in the United States is frozen. So if you think about sushi being the freshest and it's frozen, that freezing kills the parasites. It's a good thing. But more importantly, it's cheaper when you buy it frozen. In addition, you can even buy this in the can, or you don't even...
I'm pretty sure he was wrong on virtually everything he just said.
Any other type of American caught seafood, and you're still going to be able to utilize this recipe. So I start off...
if you get it in the can, it's actually going to be cheaper than $5.
Yeah, much cheaper. Yeah, much cheaper. And nowadays, you've got a diversity of seafood that you can get in a can, from sardines, even abalone, right? They're starting to farm abalone in a responsible manner. So you could use abalone if you wanted to in this recipe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by just lightly. And this is where people get confused when they're cooking seafood, is they get, what do I do, right? I'm so scared of seafood, it's gonna stick. If you're a beginner, right, and you're just kind of in that elementary level cooking seafood, just start off.
RFK looks like a big dumb goof standing there.
And a good extra virgin olive oil, or you can even use a beef tallow or an avocado oil. It's neutral, and it's not full of all those seed oil.
You use 21 cents.
Hit it with a little
olive oil.
And we're gonna hit it on both sides with this fat, and we're gonna throw this into a 400-degree oven just to gently cook the seafood. As I step through this recipe, I wanna show you a few tricks and show the viewers some tricks that these are ways in which you introduce flavors, addictive flavors, into your food without increasing either the cost or adding chemicals. So fresh herbs are key for me. So I'm always going to be using fresh herbs at every step of the way when I'm cooking it. In this case, I'll just put some thyme on there because that'll perfume it as we stick it in
on a salmon.
And then that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to throw this into a 400-degree oven, and we're going to cook it until it's fully cooked, about 8 minutes. And from there,
so this dude's stupid because
put it together.
What you want to do first is crisp up your skin because that's the best part of the salmon.
And cooled. So that's all you're going to do is you're going to cook it and you're going to cool it. Now, we talk about seafood a lot because I'm a seafood junkie, and one of the things that actually drove me into the restaurant industry was understanding people need to eat more seafood and more of the right types of seafood. The thing about the new
like a bourbon peppercorn glaze on a salmon.
Was getting people to
That's
eat
my favorite
because our seafood consumption is so low. We have this omega-3 deficiency, DHAs, selenium, zinc, iron, all of the necessary vitamins that would be in seafood are not in our diets because our per capita consumption. I'm
guessing he's probably not going to use the skin side. It's been dead.
And it's 51 pounds per person, and they have no metabolic disease, some of the longest, health span, etc. So, what are your thoughts in regards to the ways in which we get seafood in our diet, or why there's such a deficiency?
I think it's.
But you didn't cut it off, so.
A lot of seafood in this country. We're used to eating meat and think of that as our protein. Today, we have the lowest level of cattle herds in history in at least 100 years. The cost of meat has gone up. We're doing everything that we can in the administration to bring that down and increase the size of the herd. But until that happens, this is a fantastic option. And as you say, this has the omega-3. It has many of the vitamins and nutrients that are...
Wait, is that all they're going to do to the salmon?
Yes. So while we're cooking...
I know, they're making salmon cakes.
This salmon in a bowl here. If you want to break that up with a spoon, what I'll start to do is I'll start to add the other ingredients to these cakes. Now, don't worry if you overcook this. That's the key here, is that it can be overcooked, right? If it's undercooked, we're going to sear it in a pan anyways. All I'm going to do is create a binder here. As you mix that up, I'm going to do 1 egg.
Do not listen to this dude. He does not know what he's talking about.
Just lighten breadcrumb, and that's going to kind of pull everything together. Now, for the flavor element, I'm going to add...
This is the worst cooking show ever. Wait, your flavor comes from Dijon mustard.
Some fresh chives, right? So you'll get 2 different onion or vegetal flavors from the onion. And another element that people don't necessarily talk much about is nutritional yeast. This is actually very good for you, and it adds a ton of umami and richness without having to add things like cheese or any of those other fattier ingredients that might overpower the flavor of the salmon. And then I'm just...
Great for your microbiome.
Wonderful for the microbiome. I'm also going to add just a little bit of avocado oil mayo right here, and that's going to pull it together. So we can kind of pull that in together, and then we'll make the cakes. Now, what people always ask me is, well, seafood is too expensive. Now, I trade in seafood, and the American wild seafood, we have the most sustainable
seafood, not too expensive.
Legislatively, by virtue of the Magnuson-Stevenson Act of '76, I think it was. All of our fisheries have to be sustainable.
Senator Ted Kennedy.
All of our fisheries have to be sustainable, and yet we import 80+% of our seafood. We export our bounty of seafood. And of the 80% that we
had to name drop a popular Kennedy
farmed overseas, because we don't have an open ocean aquaculture policy here. So I wonder if that has a lot to do with.
Teddy killed a woman, and he's still more popular than RFK. Explain that one to me.
Kind of the price differential with the trade imbalance. But furthermore, how we can promote and get people to eat more of the right types of U.S. wild, and some of it's farmed or fortified, stock fortified here in the United States.
Also, this is a 20-minute video. It's going to take these two dipshits 20 minutes to make a salmon cake.
A week after I got in, I got handed the dietary guidelines that had been worked upon for 4 years by the Biden administration. They were 453 pages long, and they were written by food industry lobbyists. And they reflected the same kind of...
I believe that.
...that had put Fruit Loops at the top of the food pyramid. And we threw those...
No, it didn't.
We bought the best nutritionists in the country.
Fruit Loops were not at the top of the food pyramid.
Together for a year. We locked them in a room for 11 months, and we said...
Oh, he's totally spitting all over the salmon cake right now.
And there'd been...
At least they're going to fry it.
...saturated fats for almost 70 years. The government had been lying.
Fruit Loops were not the top of the food pyramid.
There was no science that supported that. And one of the things we found when we started looking at the real science was that when you don't eat protein, you eat something else. And it was ultra-processed foods. And most people chose. So 70% of the calories that our children were eating were ultra-processed food. And it's no wonder that we had a metabolic crisis. And, our diabetes rate had gone from 0 in children to about 38% diabetic or pre-diabetic. And we had the sickest country in the world. And we got to get people eating protein again, because when you eat protein, you don't eat the other stuff.
Secretary Kennedy, I'll tell you a crazy story. So I grew up in that world. All I ate was cereal, pasta, refined carbs, etc. I went to a small college and suffered having horrible stomach issues. And I actually ended up dropping out of college and got into the restaurant industry because it was the only place I had a safe haven because my stomach issues were so bad. It wasn't until 2014 when I completely cut seed oils out of my diet and all of the processed foods that I actually healed my entire body strictly with diet. That's
motherfucker was shitting all the time. He's like, I know, I'll go work in restaurants.
Transmitters in my intestines. They tried to give me anti-anxiety medication. And it wasn't until I changed my diet, ironically, after becoming a chef, that it all got healed.
At least it made you happy, right?
Well, being it drove me into the kitchen, which was the best thing in the world. So speaking of, I've got, so now I'd done some of these cakes ahead of time because you want those to sit and you want them to actually absorb some of that binder. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna take these cakes and I'm just gonna kind of cake them up into a ball, and you see how it comes together.
Cake these cakes up.
And you can form them however you want, and then just really kind of dust them in this panko to give it a crispy exterior, because we eat obviously texture.
He called it panko.
Those are the things you don't pay for these tips.
Hold on. Are we watching AI? He called it panko. He's supposedly a chef. It's panko breadcrumbs. And any fucking chef would know that. Are we watching AI? Did I get got? This guy isn't a fucking chef.
Extra for texture. This is just breadcrumbs. You can make your own at home. So I'm going to put some of this on the exterior, and then we're just going to cook these in a carbon steel pan until they are heated all the way through, about 155, 160 degrees. You can cook them in the oven.
That is the worst looking salmon cake I've ever seen.
And an arugula and green apple salad to go along with this. So another area in which people can actually save money and eat better, and I talk about this, I impress this upon everybody, even my customers, I'm losing business doing this, is that vinaigrettes, dressings, condiments, that's what I grew up with. As I mentioned, my 2 working parents, microwave generation, everything was just condiments in the refrigerator and then takeout and fast food. And I realized that not only was I addicted to salad dressings and condiments, but I was becoming addicted to the seed oils. So the first thing I do when I teach kids, our kids, other kids, and even adults who are entering the kitchen to cook is how simple it is to make a fresh vinaigrette. So we're gonna do that.
Yeah, vinaigrettes are great.
And really, a vinaigrette is just an emulsion, the coming together of 2 ingredients that otherwise wouldn't come together. In this case, we're gonna use extra virgin olive oil and some cider vinegar. I really like the cider vinegar just because it gives it that nice sharp bite. It's inexpensive and it's also pretty good for you. So I'm gonna add that here. We do a ratio, right? So we do 1 part cider vinegar to really 3 parts oil. Add some fresh herbs in here, even maybe add some nutritional yeast. Oh, and I added the Dijon mustard because not only, one of the things I tell people is when
nutritional yeast.
Intellectualize it. Think about your palate. Salty, sour, sweet, and bitter. Dijon fulfills the bitterness. We get a natural sweetness from the cider vinegar. You get the fattiness from the extra virgin olive oil. We'll add a little bit of salt to this, and the sweetness can come from the vinegar. And if you wanted, you could add some honey to this. But it's a 3-to-1. It's not
the sweetness can come from the vinegar, he said.
Virgin olive oil here 3-to-1. If you want it more acidic, you can add, make it more of a 2-to-1, if you will. And the cost on this, right now, if you went...
Apple cider vinegar has an apple flavor. It is not sweet. In no world. This dude is an idiot.
We just mix it up, let that Dijon mustard, which, as I mentioned, is a natural emulsifier.
Well, I would usually use my hand mixer.
Into the vinaigrette. And right here, we've got a healthy vinaigrette, no seed oils.
I've got a food processor. I'd probably
and a little bit of
pour the oil into as I blended it.
And voila, we're done.
Because you're not going to get a good mix like that.
A week or two. It's got pretty good shelf life. But for the purposes of our...
This is the worst cooking show.
We're just going to toss up a little wild arugula. Making a salad is really one of the simplest things in the world, but you could charge $23 for this at a fine restaurant and a nice plate. But when you do it at home, it's incredibly inexpensive and healthier for you. I'm gonna add some fresh cracked pepper here. And another trick, too many times people throw away the lemon after they squeeze the lemon juice in there, but the exterior of the lemon is full of
lemon zest, yes.
Flavor.
Everybody knows about lemon zest.
Eating your salad with a little bit
69 cents.
Zest. Does the
motherfucker.
And then we'll add, one of the things, especially with me having stomach issues, is kind of trying to get more prebiotics, more fiber into my diet. And I learned
just
early
kidney
on,
beans
are essential, especially with the breakdown and being an essential protein / fiber. So I'm going to throw some white beans into this salad as well, and they're relatively inexpensive. If you
a lot of beans, you bitch.
A toss. I'm going to pull a spoon here. You can toss it up with a spoon. There you go.
Well, tell us how you sharpen the knife.
So I'm honing.
Who would eat the food that they are making?
Keep a sharp knife, because the best tool in the kitchen is a sharp knife. Actually, the most dangerous tool in the kitchen is a dull knife, and it kind of seems counterintuitive, but
I am less hungry than when we started watching this.
You're cutting and typically lose a finger, which is how I lost this one. but this is also fun. This is what my kids love doing, right? So you always use this honing steel, and then you go...
Brother, let's fry up the finger. It'd probably be tastier.
Right. Teach your kids how to do this, and you'll be able to cook faster, quicker. We're talking through this right now.
Don't give the kids a knife like that.
Our cakes are already done. They've just been slowly cooking on the back burner over here, because time is money. Now for the last piece, I'm going to add just some matchstick green apples. To me, apples are, as iconic as apple pie, obviously, but one of the most important produce items that you can find at the grocery store.
Okay, take out the beans.
Apples.
Do the apples.
Varieties, they're so healthy, and they're so...
With the arugula.
So
throw in some feta.
Include them into my salads or all the different dishes. This is how I get my kids to eat. I mean, we got 4 kids. They're in the kitchen all the time. And one thing I've learned...
I'd probably make a balsamic vinaigrette to go with it,
outside of, just biting an apple is, if the kids cook it themselves, they'll eat it. So that's always the joke. Like my son, he hates mushrooms. So one day I got one of those salad knives and had him cut the mushrooms up. Because he cut them and he cooked them, he ate the mushrooms. So nowadays I just have the kids cooking it.
That is a good trick.
Cooking everything, yeah. Perfect. So a little white bean, green apple, wild arugula, that bitterness, kind of peppery. And those are the greens, right? The healthfulness from...
And I probably wouldn't do just a straight arugula salad either. You'd probably do baby spinach and arugula.
These are canned white beans. I just rinse them off to get...
Because arugula is a strong flavor in and of itself.
It's already been cleaned. The green apple was a quick slice. That's something I would let my kids do normally to get their knife skills going. We've got restaurants and...
Again, affirming that I don't believe this guy knows how to cook.
Yeah. Good plan.
I've also learned in California, kids can't sue you, so that's helpful. No, I'm just
Shia LaBeouf is not a good chef.
If you look at the expanse of all these different ingredients, and I think about it in regards to the new...
Are we done? Is this the end of the video?
Because I've been a chef who's been banging my head up against the wall for 10, 15 years, especially on the seafood side of things, telling people, get rid of that imbalance between 6s and 3s, right? You got to eat more 3s and you got to decrease your 6s as well so that we can get back to that normalized ratio. And it wasn't really until you brought attention to it, and now ultimately through this dietary guidelines, that people say, oh, okay, it's credible. And we're teaching them how to get back into their own kitchen, because it all starts right here. And this is fun food, right? This is delicious food. We can even plate it up right now, and the viewers can see. You know, make sure I get a bunch of the beans in here. And the green apple, you know, people think apple's sweet. Interestingly, apple is actually tart. So when you're composing dishes,
Well, green apples are, you dick.
like salmon that have all those natural inherent fats, right? Those omega-3s, the DHAs. You always want to think about having something tart or acidic to cut through that richness, because otherwise the food could taste a little overwhelming. And when people say to me, oh, it tasted rich and fishy, I always think to myself, maybe you didn't have the right balance of ingredients. And these cakes just cooked simply right here. We're gonna just kind of put those off to the side. All right, real simple. And if you wanted to,
I would not eat that.
Or use a little bit of the extra dressing right onto the, there we go.
Shit covered hand.
So, and then just a little squeeze of fresh citrus over at the end. And then just some fresh chives at the end. And there we go.
I don't believe that he's real.
It's that simple.
Beautiful.
So this right here, this dish cost about $5, and we're using wild Alaskan sockeye salmon. If you wanted to use canned salmon or even an alternative protein or seafood source, you can get it all the way down to
There is no way.
$3 a portion. That includes the salad, the white beans, the special vinaigrette.
The salmon was $8. He showed
The
us.
quality of fine dining, but at the cost and convenience of the new dietary guidelines, which is not that expensive.
All right. Amazing.
Thank
No,
you.
it's
First
not.
Cook for a dignitary.
Thank you, Chef Andrew Gruel. We're here today to teach Americans how to eat real food, high quality food at affordable prices, and we'll see you next time.
Produced by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
But he made 2 salmon cakes. That's his serving for one person. He used all of the salmon, which was $8. I'm not good at math.
You take your 33 and a third chance minus my 25% chance, and you got an 8 and a third chance of winning.
But that plate was not $4. And I'm a proponent of cooking at home. It is cheaper. If it's AI, it's really good. I don't know how good it was. How do you say panko? He called it pinko breadcrumbs or some shit. I don't know. The hot, hot summer day. A lot of the country's on fire. Here's some puppies getting in a pool. I'm going to be watching SummerSlam. Anybody have any SummerSlam predictions? I'm not the biggest Roman Reigns fan, but clearly he's going up against Seth Rollins, my mortal enemy, my arch nemesis. So I clearly am going to root for the tribal chief tonight. I don't even remember the rest of the matches. I think my girl Tiffany Stratton is in the ladder match for the women's title. It's always Tiffy time over here. I don't even know what the other matches are. Hold on, let me look. Oh, Charlotte Flair against Jade. I don't even give a shit. Ooh, Finn Balor against Sami Zayn. That's going to be a really good match. Excellent match. Ooh, Danhausen versus Dominic Mysterio in a Human Money is on a pole match. Definitely rooting for Dirty Dom. U.S. Championship, Trick Williams against Baron Corbin. I can't believe Baron Corbin's back. Penta against Chad Gable. Chad Gable's got to win. And it's Charlotte versus Jade versus Tiffany Stratton versus Chelsea Green versus Lash Legend. Of course, I'm rooting for Tiffany Stratton. It's Tiffany. It's Tiffy time. Puppy's jumping in a pool. Let me find somebody for Twitch to raid out to. I'll be back at normal time tomorrow. I was on early specifically for... I raided into James yesterday as he was coming on. I can't raid into James again. Be back at normal time tomorrow. School Wrestling Review is on. Send you guys over to Park Horse. I went up, tip one back. It's alright, Ebel Fun for the sack. I'm Justin Freakin. See you tomorrow night. Normal troll time, normal troll place. Probably.